And that tells me that it's more probably about politics than the actual letter of the law. And I think that will help the situation if a mom has another alternative to raising it herself. To have a two-state solution, you have to have two sides that want that solution. You could start oil exploration to see what is there. That would be an issue that he would be addressing as president. Is there another shoe to drop, something we don't know about? And if not, then why is he gone? I think there's a number of things that go on in those last conference discussions where you put together the House and Senate thing. The main thing is that nobody knows what goes on unless sources leak things. So much is happening in an $80 billion budget that it's entirely possible that chunks such as this and the implications of them that PJ just outlined were not even realized during that conference because the budget is so large and complicated, number one. Number two, and this is something that is an ongoing frustration for me, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone, is that you have such a closed-door possibility going on there. And you do because the legislature, just like Congress, is consistently passing laws for everybody else to live under that they don't. In this case, Sunshine Law. The County Commission here in Sarasota, the school board, everybody has to live under the Sunshine Law that the legislature passed a long time ago, but the legislature does not, and that's a problem. Well, I would put it more at the state level. I'm not for that Medicaid expansion. I wasn't for it at the time. I was glad Governor Scott didn't take it because this was going to be one of two things that was going to happen, either this or all of the rest of the cost was going to come to the state. So he was wise not to. So Florida is not facing any cuts in that area. But to me, in a philosophic level, this is the type of thing where that government, which is closest to the people, is best. Really, as much as you can have local programs, such as PJ, such as others, handling them. And I think that the county commission should be involved with this. I think that there's a lot of ways that this can be handled outside of Washington. Because here's the problem. I just want to say, just in a bigger picture, if I can, that there's no way that Washington can make a decision that's good for Butte, Montana, and rural Iowa, and Miami-Dade, and L.A. There's no way.
Okay, so left to its own devices, as we just reported, Florida is cutting $250,000 to First Step for residential care.
And I guarantee you there will be repercussions for that. And this is how the process works. There will be repercussions for that happening. I mean, there just will be. And we might find out there's more to it because, as we know, because it was done behind closed doors, like it always has been behind closed doors, more may come out. But that particular decision, I think that they're going to feel repercussions for. They would from me.
Frank?
Well, but as I understand it, that budget actually increased specific coverage for opioid to Florida. That was something Vern Buchanan pushed for, and that was something that is consistent with what Trump has talked about on the stump. So I think there's some consistency there. What Frank is talking about is a broader issue in the cuts in the AHCA, but on the specifics of the opioid epidemic, I think that Congressman Buchanan and President Trump are consistent on that this week. I mean, I don't like that. It's going to go to the Senate, and the Senate will fix what we screwed up. I mean, that's not leadership in Congress at all, to be speaking that way. I don't care for that at all. But the bill also is creating a pool for low-income people. So that the problem is, when Frank was talking about how it allows insurance companies to do more, clearly what we have right now, not to get too far off track, but Obamacare is failing. I mean, Aetna's pulled out completely. You have so many of the major insurers have pulled out. It is a failing program, so it has to be fixed somehow. The AHCA is an attempt to fix it by ensuring that we don't lose the insurance companies in the market, that keeping them healthy enough to continue, while also providing a pool of money for the low-income people that Frank's talking about.
Frank,
there's a lot of things in life that can't be afforded. One of the problems that I have in the conversation here is when we talk about cutting millions from Medicaid, and so we're going to be putting several million at risk. There were also, even at this point, there were a lot of people that weren't covered. The solution is always more money, more money, more money. But the problem is that never actually fixes problems. Clearly, in this case, in an opioid epidemic like this, we might need more money. But the concept that we always just need to spend more money, and any time we try and retrench at all, we're causing damage, I think that's a poor philosophy also.
You're saying in this case we may need more money.
In the opioid one?
Yes.
Yeah, we may.
Okay. You're president of the Republican Club here, but you do have a problem with the way your party has handled this entire debate in terms of the party has been against the Affordable Care Act for these 8 years, got into office, and does not have a well-worked plan.
Right. Well, for real conservatives like me within the Republican Party, we've long been frustrated that party people Republicans tend to run to their base and then govern somewhere to the center. That's like that fixed wisdom we have out there. So they're always promising repeal Obamacare. Then when they were in office and when, President Obama, a Democrat, was in office, they were able to pass all these bills that they knew darn well were never going to see the light of day. Then once we have all three branches like we wanted, like we all pushed for and wanted, then they're totally unprepared with what to do, and it sort of felt a little bit like we don't have a campaign issue anymore. That's not what the base ever wanted.